I cannot believe this. As in the Toronto Maple Leafs' big win against the Montreal Canadiens, we saw Max Pacioretty go down with an injury, and the injury bug is biting the Toronto Maple Leafs once again. So we're going to break down an update on his front, as well as discuss an absolutely wild stat surrounding the Toronto Maple Leafs goaltending, and more specifically, Anthony Stolar. So stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 14,000 subscribers. If you're enjoying the daily videos and the post-game live streams, make sure to hit that button. But Darius, a lot to go over. Obviously, you weren't there for the post-game stream yesterday, so welcome back. But it was a huge win against the Montreal Canadiens that saw, again, a lot of players step up. Joseph Wall had a good game, and we're going to dive into that a little bit. But Max Pacioretty, he went down with an injury, and he's been a part of that second line that's been absolutely red hot over the past handful of games. And you can see this here again, like you saw in the clip earlier. Max Pacioretty leaves the ice in discomfort due to an apparent leg injury. We saw some of the players come out and speak out about the injury, and the severity of his lower body injury won't be known for a couple days. He needs further evaluation. So we'll have an update in a couple days, but this is an update in itself in that it's looking like he might miss a bit of time.
Yeah, it's looking like he's going to miss maybe 2 weeks, something like that. Again, I'm just speculating, but if you watch the intro video and you saw the play last night, it's a hamstring. Where he's holding it, everything, it's his hamstring. A lot of people were speculating, oh, I hope it's not his Achilles again. He's rehabbed that, and hopefully, everything's been good so far with that, so that won't resurface. But it looks to me like it's probably his hamstring, so maybe 2 weeks. It really depends how he responds and how the next couple of days go. So I don't want to speculate too much on that and how much time he's going to miss. But again, I don't think he's going to be right back in the lineup or anything. It looked pretty significant. And obviously he left the game, and that was pretty early on. I think it was the first period there. So you know what? He's been called upon on this team to play more physical. And we have another video clip too of he was setting the tone really early against Montreal Canadiens with a big hit. And he's been doing this all season. This is not exactly why they went out and got him, but Craig Berube had a conversation with him, and he was talking about it on the broadcast yesterday. Max Pacioretty, this is about that conversation where he said, we need you to come in and we need you to be physical, not necessarily do the things you've done your whole career. We need you to be physical and a good leader. And he's been doing exactly that. But, it comes at a cost sometimes when you're a little bit older, not even when you're older, when you're playing physical like that, you might get injured. So obviously he was battling there in front of the net and unfortunately he got injured, but hopefully he's back soon. It doesn't look like it's anything too significant, but he might miss some time. That's for sure.
Yeah, and he's been absolutely red hot to start the red hot in the sense of he's just been playing very well. He's forechecking his speed. He looks a lot faster than we thought, and he looked fully healthy. And again, it's a little bit concerning. John Tavares spoke out on it and said, "You just hope the news is better than how he's feeling in the moment." It's never easy to see. We obviously found some chemistry together on that second line, like he's alluding to, and had some success early. So we're obviously going to miss him and what he brings to the table. And if the Toronto Maple Leafs do end up going down without Max Pacioretty goes out for a couple of weeks. Looking forward now, Darius, on who could be his replacement. We know Connor Dewar is probably the most obvious guy, not in the second line. They'd move the lines around, but who would you suspect to be the replacement? I was mentioning in the stream briefly last night. You'd suspect Connor Dewar would be, again, he's already on the team technically right now. He'll probably go back down once Austin Matthews returns from the IR on Tuesday. But that being said, if Max Pacioretty has to go on the IR, the LTIR, it opens up a spot for Connor Dewar to come up and play in that fourth line and move everybody up a notch. But it sucks having to mess, assuming he misses time with that second line, given how well they've been playing and given how many injuries the Toronto Maple Leafs have dealt with thus far.
The second line has been fantastic so far. And I keep saying they might not make it to the end of the season, but they're playing well so far, so don't break them up. But obviously, Pacioretty could miss some time. I think we're going to find out tomorrow if it's like maybe a day-to-day thing or if he has to go in the IR. And if he has to go in the IR, or even if they want to stretch it a little bit where he does go in the IR to buy them some more time, then yeah, Connor Dewar is going to be the guy that's going to replace him. Not necessarily in that position. I would move Nick Robertson up to the second line to give him a shot there with William Nylander and John Tavares, who are playing really well right now, just to try and get him going. He scored the other night, but it was disallowed. So just to get him going a little bit and see what that looks like. And obviously Connor Dewar will factor into the lineup. And it just really depends how long Pacioretty is going to be out, right? If they can put him on the IR, then obviously it makes life easy. You can just bring somebody up like Connor Dewar and use him on the roster. But there's still another move that has to be made in that regard as well, probably this week. So that's going to be interesting to watch. But I think tomorrow we'll get some light shed on how long Pacioretty will be out. And I think Dewar is probably going to play Tuesday anyway. It's about time they get him in there. But another move has to be made too. We got Yanni Hakanpää just sitting around.
Yeah, he's on the way back as well. So a lot of moving pieces for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And let us know down below, are you concerned with the Max Pacioretty injury? Again, if you missed it, I'll show it to you guys one more time. He went down, and it's interesting because hopefully he took a little bit of a hit and he limped to the bench. And hopefully he's going to start to feel better over the next couple of days because his physicality has been paying big dividends. But I want to touch on something else now, and that's the goaltending. Obviously, Joseph Wall had a solid start yesterday, and per NHL Edge, Maple Leafs Joseph Wall has an NHL best 933 high danger save percentage. So in yesterday's game, there wasn't that many aside from the third period high danger chances for the Montreal Canadiens because the Leafs defense played very strong and they ultimately outplayed the Leafs outplayed the Habs thoroughly. But Joseph Wall, a very solid game, and he's been playing fairly well. When you look at team goaltending as of November 10th, the day of recording, the Leafs have the fourth best goals saved above expected in the NHL, and you're going up against a lot of other good goaltending teams, specifically, obviously, Igor Shesterkin of the New York Rangers and Jake Ottinger of the Dallas Stars. So a couple of different things here, but the Maple Leafs and Anthony Stolarz is carrying the majority of this load. But again, Joseph Wall has looked very good as well. I think this goaltending tandem has really, not that it's flown under the radar for Leafs fans, maybe across the NHL, like they've been even better than the Winnipeg Jets goaltending wise. And again, they have Connor Hellebuck and they're 14-1, the best start in NHL history. So it's a very encouraging sign if you're a Leafs fan, and it's sustainable and something the Leafs haven't had in a very, very long time.
Yeah, all of a sudden, I mean, the talk the last couple of years it's been the goaltending and maybe a little bit of the defense the last couple of seasons, and all of a sudden the Leafs no longer have a goaltending problem. And when you look at the tandem, I think, with Joseph Wall being the quote unquote, backup goalie at this point in time, and he has to win the job back, I think that's more of a testament to like how good Anthony Stolarz has been playing, because I don't think Joseph Wall has stolen a game for the Leafs yet this season. Like, he hasn't won them a game, but I don't think he's lost them one either. I think he's been fine in the games that he's played. And obviously they're playing a weaker team yesterday, right? In the Montreal Canadiens. But I think he's been fine. And I actually saw yesterday that nobody is better, small sample size, sure, but nobody is better in the NHL than Joseph Wall in high danger situations so far this year. So the Leafs have a very good 1-2 punch in net. And whether you want to call one a starter or not, I mean, right now, I think we can all agree that Stolarz has, secured that position for the time being. I think Joseph Wall can, he has the potential to play himself back into that position. But one thing's for sure, they're both playing fine. Stolarz is playing fantastic. Joseph Wall is playing fine. And that's a really good option for the Leafs because your starter's great, your backup's playing fine, and you're probably going to win a lot of games that way. So this is a non-issue anymore, which is a good thing, really good thing for Leaf fans. And the stats are speaking for themselves. They've been great so far this year.
Yeah, it's went from middling of the pack to one of the better, more of a strength for the team than a weakness, which is obviously good. And with the amount of double headers coming up, obviously this month, but specifically in December, you're going to need Joseph Wall to continue to play well. So let us know down below what your thoughts are on this. A very impressive stat for Anthony Stolarz and Joseph Wall as well as he starts to get going. But Darius, quickly before we wrap up, just want to look ahead over the next few games. They obviously play again on Tuesday. Hopefully Austin Matthews will be able to return then, but it's an interesting schedule. You play some solid teams, the Oilers, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Florida Panthers. And to end the month here, Panthers and Lightning, you're directly chasing the Panthers, and the Lightning are directly behind you in the standings. So any thoughts on this as the Leafs hopefully can continue to build on this winning streak that they have?
Yeah, the rest of the month is very interesting. I mean, Ottawa Senators, you kind of have to win that game. Ottawa won yesterday in overtime against the Bruins. So you want to create some separation in the Atlantic early. They did a good job this week of it. They have to continue it into next week. Washington's pretty good, right? Surprise this year. Connor McDavid's coming into town next Saturday. So there's a couple big matchups. Utah coming up in a couple weeks. First time that they're ever coming into Toronto. And then again, two big Atlantic division matchups, like you said, at the end of the month. Florida, you're chasing for that #1 seed in the Atlantic, and obviously Tampa Bay. You're trying to create separation, so I think they have a good opportunity to do that in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, let us know below what your thoughts are on this. We'll be live after each of these games, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Hit the subscribe button. See you guys soon.